Hi, Fireplace people. I've made a couple of videos about cleaning these fire inserts and how they work. And there's kind of a learning curve to building fires and everything in there. And I always forget to show the complete process and lighting, etc. So I'm going to connect all these clips and show the process. So first, I clean out my ashes. Sometimes I clean it out completely if it's the end of the winter, but they say a little bit of ash helps with insulation and you can leave some. I don't leave a lot because as soon as it starts burning, it'll start making ash, and then that's just less. I got to clean it later after I burn a lot. So, in Texas, we get a few days of warm and then we get, a few days of cold. Then it goes back to warm. So I don't use the fireplace 24/7 here, except when it's really cold. We get a cold front for a week or so. So this is what it looks like now. I'm going to lay some bags at the bottom, and then I'm going to stack some wood, and I'll come back. So I used to do the Boy Scout TP, and I kind of figured out that this is long. Now, this is the air vents where the air comes out. When I adjust this knob, more air and less air, so I can turn it up and down. So by putting those air vents here and these two pieces of wood here, it funnels the air right through a tunnel, and it really starts the fire nice. Now I'm going to lay some paper bags at the bottom, kind of before I put my kindling on top of it, and then I'll put the wood on top of that. So this is one paper bag that I got from the store when I pick up my groceries. And I just save my paper bags because it helps me start my fire. Paper bags that you get at the grocery store tend to be thick and they burn pretty hot. So they start my fire really quick. So I just tear the bottom off and place it on the bottom. And then I tear the top and make little balls that I'm going to stack some kindling over. This was in some packing material that I had that's kind of cut up paper that's air. So in order to get rid of that, I just kind of kept that around. I'm going to make a few balls of that to give me a little bit more kindling before I put my sticks on top. So now I have my paper. I balled up some of that, put a couple things in the back there. Again, I'm making this tunnel of air that goes through here. Once it lights, and it just will light all this. Once I put my kindling on top of here, I'll put a couple big logs over that. So I grabbed some my kindling. When I trim some of my trees, I keep it in an old pile, and that way I'll just go out there and grab some of this that's been drying and kind of sitting around rotting. So I'm going to break this up. Here's some from the firewood. Sometimes these pieces will like break off after it gets old or dry. These are good kindling on top of these little wood thing in the paper. So now I'll break that and I will stack that on the paper. So I typed up all my little wooden sticks on top of the paper. So when I light my fire, when the winter comes in here, I'll make another little clip and I'll actually show it lighting. I'll turn my vents open, it'll light up. It'll light the wood in the back that's covered because it'll be burning. This will fall down and I'll lay a couple of logs on top of it. All right, so I'll be back when it gets cold and I'll light this. Okay, so the temperature's coming in. I'm gonna turn this up on a high for the airflow. And then I will light my paper. And that's about it. I will shut the door. And that's how I start a fire. And then this will take fairly quick. So the wind's coming in. You can tell there's a draft even though the doors are shut. So the wind's kind of pushing it back along the paper. And that smoke will clear out here in a second as it heats up a little bit. Be able to see better. And you can already see flames in the back there. So it's already worked its way. The wind is blowing it back. And then it heats that underneath there. And I'll stop this for a minute and then let you kind of tell what's kind of going on there. So it's lighting all the little things there. Everybody always gets mad because man, show it when you light it so we can see. Okay, there it is. Kind of surprised there's so much smoke. Normally that smoke kind of clears out of there pretty quick. I'm going to giraffe this just a little bit. Maybe get that smoke going out of there a little bit. So now the paper at the bottom that I laid down is still lighting up the tinder and then the other wood. And that's it. I'll leave this on high for maybe 5 minutes. All that wood will be red. If I want to throw in more wood, I can. So the smoke's clearing out now. It's got hot enough to where it's forcing it out. And normally these things don't produce a whole lot of smoke. That's part of the key. When you see that flame kind of rolling off the top, you know you're getting a good hot flame. And that's it. So if you stack your firewood right, and those bars on the side, they keep this wood off the ground, really makes a great air path. You notice I have the wood going from front to back on each side, and then I stack everything on top of it. And that really creates a nice draft for the air to go through. It ignites the stuff on the bottom with that air, and then it just works its way up. And like I said, well, hell, you know how it looks like I'm on 3 minutes. So minus the me starting it, this is what, 3 minutes of just lighting the front. And again, all I'll do is light the paper. Paper lights kindle. Kindle lights the small pieces of wood, and I can start feeling the heat coming off it now. It's not real hot, but I can feel the heat a little bit, and it'll start heating up the house. And after it goes really good, those will be red, and once I get the red coals on the bottom is when it really just heats the house. So this is just kind of the flame stuff here. And you can still tell right in the center there where that draft just goes right through there. It makes those coals nice and red hot. And the wind is just shooting straight from inside the two vents. It's shooting straight back through those two end pieces. And that's how I get the back part lit too. So I don't have to put kindling all over the back. It's kind of blowing the flames back there. So now that I did it to where everybody can see it, that's how I build a fire in these wood-burning fireplace inserts. Hope that helped. Okay, so this is about 5 minutes past, and I threw a couple more logs in there, one across the top. You see, this one I kind of dropped a little short. It didn't hang on the edge. You can see how it fell down. So you don't want to block this airflow where those air vents are. The more that air can shoot through the back and get the whole thing. If you put a piece of wood right there, that one piece of wood only will get red hot and burn because the air will only flame that one piece of wood. So not blocking those air vents when you're starting it. Later on, when you get red coals everywhere, it doesn't matter. But for right now, when you're trying to start it, don't block those two little air vents right there that blow the air through. And so again, I usually leave this on high. You shouldn't see smoke in these type of stoves, these inserts. So because it swirls around, it kind of eats up. That's why it gives out more heat. It actually burns up and cooks. If you go out and look at my chimney right now, there's no smoke coming out because it's burning up all the smoke inside here. And you can smell it outside, but you won't see smoke coming out. If you see smoke coming out of the top, or if you see a lot of smoke in here, your fire's too cold. You want to get it really hot, and it does something with the gases. It gets all the oxygen out of the wood, whatever. I don't know how the technical terms, but there's different stages that wood or burning things work. So there's like smoke and initial, then the top fuel, then the whatever, heat, temp, whatever. So anyway, if you see smoke, like right now, if I turn this low, let me just turn this down. And you're going to see it kind of break down. Now you see the top, because it's really hot, it's going to blow out some smoke, the flames. But you don't see my other things at the bottom really burning anymore. And so they will start smoking now because I haven't let them get hot enough and come up to temperature. That was the one thing when I first got this I used to do. I used to turn it down too quick. You want it, you're seeing the red flames there in the back on those woods and those wood pieces in the back from the flame rolling off of those baffles up top. But you don't, it's still not hot enough. So I'm gonna turn it back up because it's on low right now, and it'll start smoking because this wood hasn't, I can already tell it's getting darker in there because the wood isn't going. So let me turn this back up. And that wind is starting to go in there now. It's going to start turning it, and it'll flame back up. And as it flames back up, I'll make sure all my wood, not just the bottom, is good and red. Because as this thing flames up, it starts curling back down. And then it gets the top of your wood. You can tell the top is kind of charred a little bit, but doesn't have that glowing red yet. And of course, it's really glowing there because that's where the wind's coming in. And again, don't block that. You can tell right in the center of the wood where that wind's hitting it. It's a little more red. So, and because I turn it back on high, the flame's going to come back and it's going to really start. I don't know if you can really tell that the wood, like the gas is coming out of that piece of wood right there. It's not like the wood's on fire, but it's like it's burning. The gas is coming out of it. And that's what you really want to get, the good internal temperature of all that wood. Good and hot, not just the outside. And then you don't get smoke. And then your windows. You can tell the window started blackening up over there. That's because I got too much smoke. If your windows get black, you're burning your stove too cold, too early. You have to let it get really, really hot up to temperature, and then it doesn't smoke, and then your window doesn't get brown like that area right there. Now, if I leave this on high for 5 or 10 minutes, that'll burn away. It'll just burn that off. That's just kind of carbon buildup. So anyway, hopefully that helps on how to light your stove. And now that front piece is getting more red on top, see, that's kind of getting those red coals. I'll probably give it 5 more minutes and I'll be able to turn it down to normal. So I wanted to come out to show you that there's no smoke coming out of that fireplace. And I know some people will be like, man, how can you have a fire with no smoke? That thing just burns it up. It's very, very smoky came in. So, this has been going on. What are you doing, boy? Whenever I light this fire, man, he shows up. He likes to lay down right in front of it. So you can tell it's like a firebox now. And I mean, it is just, so every piece of wood is getting flame and heat. And that's what's going to stop that smoking when I turn this down. So let me look at the clock here. So this has been going, this thing's been lit for about 12 minutes, maybe 13 minutes. And that's what it looks like. There's Smokey laying down because he knows he's feeling the heat. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. So that's on high. By turning off that little extra thing, it takes some of the heat out. So you'll see it calm down a little bit. You still see it shooting from the top there. Those flames, all those baffles heating up and blowing that smoke, redirecting it. That's why you get such good burns in these fireplaces. You don't waste logs. You know, you don't have these big chunks that are unburnt. When I take my ashes out, I mean, it is pulverized dust. So it's still on high, and I think it's because the top of the logs now are red, not just the bottoms. So because of that, I'm going to turn it down to low. The flame's going to go away, and all those red coals are just going to continue to put off heat. I know. It's nice and warm, huh, Moki Cat? I know. Ooh, man, camera's getting hot just holding it right here. Smokey will lay here and I'll touch him and he'll be like, so as those baffles start cooling, you see that log in the back, it's just as red as can be. I don't know if this camera's picking it up, but the top of the logs are nice and red. And so that's on low. And from here on, it'll just ember. I'll leave it on low till those logs are almost gone, and I'll throw in more logs. And it'll continue to put out heat. All right? And that there on lighting a fire in the fireplace insert. This fireplace, which I don't think it matters, is a Quadra Fire or something. Anyway, we'll end that there.